All right, and welcome to the Social Hour. I told you we are now going to be crossing over into more interesting stuff, and this is where it gets real. Today we are going to be talking about the modern times, and we are taking you into the dating scene as we explore the dynamics and the complexities of dating in these modern times. Hii topic ya leo, wengine wetu tulikuwa tunasema, we are not the experts. Actually, we are here to hear the interesting stuff that happens kwa watu wenye wako kwa soko huko nje. So, welcome to the program, and I'm having a panel, and for the very first time, allow me to say the experts. Roberta and your expert.
We give up.
She's always learning. So hapa leo amepatikana.
Leo mimi ndio educator. Leo mimi ndio na shine. Wacha nitawaambia stories zote za ninafanyanga.
Alafu guess who's back? I'm sure atamshamuona. Anatuambia sijui jet lag, sijui hajazoea maji ya huko.
You're using the wrong language to her.
Imagine that haelewi Kiswahili. I'm using it deliberately. Asisikie kenye nasema.
Okay.
Unajua sasa haelewi kenye nasema.
Sielewi kenye nasema. I can't. I just can't, by the way. Guten Morgen.
Cutie is back. Nakuambia.
Feels so good to be back, by the way. Enye home is home, Kuna tu kitu tu. Hata ukiko nje, but home is home. Feels good to be back. Good to see you guys. But karibu ni lale. Karibu ni wacheni. Niacheni tu. Karibu ni sahau.
But for the love of the show,
lazima. For the love of the game. Lazima.
The Germans, what are they saying?
Wako tu.
Karibu mambo mingi, mambo mingi za kusema.
Nezaanza kububujikwa na maneno. Acha tuachane nayo.
Acha tuachie hapo. Ken Munywa, psychologist, and mimi usema anatusoma. Hata sasa ashajua.
Leo nilikuwa nikuja na kitabu, nichukua notes. Nika research. Thank you very much.
Your week has been good?
Very, very well. We are now in the December mood officially.
Na kama uko kwa soko, jaribu, you know, this New Year, ulisema New Year resolutions, Jaribu, you have very few days left. 2024 is quite.
New Year, tunatafuta mtu wa kwenda na yeye December bash. Wazazi washaanza kuuliza.
It is still possible.
You can hire.
It is still possible.
Roberta. Anyway, dating in the modern soko ikoje?
Unauliza ni kama mbuzi.
Kisafi.
How is the market?
I am going to have fun with this one.
Guys. Mtu wangu ana watch. Asha tune in.
You are now even declaring. It's good to declare.
Nimetoka soko.
Nyanya zimeiva huko nje.
Nyanya zimeshaiva, zishachukuliwa. Lakini, by the way, I'm actually learning a lot while actively dating. Because it's... Nimerealize vitu moja pasi ubonga. Ni by the way ni rahisi kuongea. Tunaongeanga, do this, communicate, tell each other, talk to each other. So zile uko kwa uwanja and it's time to practice all the things we've been preaching. It's not as easy. But something that is really, really helping is, you know, being surrounded by secure people. Dating someone who's secure as well. It's helping me have to look back and think and introspect and ask myself, oh my God, did I communicate? Am I, you know, matching their standards as well? Am I being considerate? Am I, you know, actively caring and thinking about them and just being in a relationship? It's not easy, but when you're in it, it's easier to learn from the situation than when we're just here talking and not practicing. So that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm... Nini unajua ni mshapata wapua wetu. Washasettle. Okay, you see, the thing with relationships is I always say that the best way to learn how to be in a relationship is by being in one. You could do all the talking, you could go to all the classes, you could hire all the coaches and therapists and stuff. But if you're not actively, you know, practicing and putting yourself out there to be in the game and to do it actively, how will you be tested on the things that you're learning? Like the simple thing I mentioned, communication. You know, sitting here and saying, talk to your partner, ask them. Yesterday we were having a difficult conversation on money. It wasn't really difficult because it's something I talk about here all the time. But when it comes to applying the actual things and discussing, you know, pesa yende hapa, mimi nilipe hii, wo ufanye hii, it seems so, oh my God, I'm a grown up. You know, it starts hitting me that, my goodness, this is a real relationship that I actually have to pour in and care about. I can't just go to sleep and not communicate the whole day tomorrow venye nimezoea. So si rahisi lakini inabamba.
Inabamba. Unajua ni kitu kupendea na nimemiss sana kwa hii show QT. Wewe usema ukweli. Wewe usema ukweli. Huyu amepaint rosy image.
Ni junani anaoa. Siashasema.
You know, at date and understanding person, it's working. We tuambie soko inakaje.
Soko.
Last time we left.
No, soko kiukweli soko ni chafu, tuambiane tu kweli. Soko ni chafu, even the language. Siku hizi watu wanaongeaje, kusettle wachia nini? Wachia dust. Kugongewa. You know, the language has changed out there. And it's so real. By the way, we say it as memes, we say it as jokes, but nimekam kurealize hizi vitu ni ukweli. Basically ukikaa na wasee komeza kwanza maboys ukikaa nao it's so real out there, like wase wanagongewa kusettle. Hiyo story ya kusettle iliisha kabisa. By the right now out there ati upate mse ati settle down naye, kwanza first of all people don't even date. Siku hizi ni mpatane na mse mlaikiane, move in together, mpate mtoi na mwanze kumove on. Like nowadays hakuna ile talking stage. Unajua ile talking stage ilishaisha, ati mnakaa chini sasa unajua hizo discussions zenye Robert anasema story ya nani atalipa bills gani, watoi nini, watu watawa discuss story ya mtoi tu anakam mnashtuki aya by the way tuko na mtoi aya by the way. That is what is happening in the market, because at the end of the day people don't have the time anymore. Nani Safin, like watu hawana hiyo time ya kukaa chini. Watu wanasema mimi sina hiyo time, by the way mimi na hustle. Kila mtu ana hustle, nani ya hustle Safin saizi? So people are just out there like zile za tumepatana, like unani like na kulike, to move in pamoja, maisha iendelee. Watu wanaanza kudate. That is the way it is. Yani that's the reality of life. Na hata tukidanganyana aje, your talking stage ilishaga kitambo. Hizo ni enzi za kina
Thank you for confirming.
But hizo enzi zimeisha saizi as it is right now. Soko nao ni chafu, tusidanganyane Safin. Sita kudanganya, hakuna wase wapoa saizi, watu wanayuziana. The dating scene right now, people are using each other out there, like umse anaweza ni benefit financially, umse ananipenda, like kuna watu wanataka kupendwa, kuna watu wanataka financial, kuna watu wanataka mental. Umse ananifanyanga nikuwe in a good mental state. So nikikaa naye, he knows how to control me. Like nikitaka kulipuka, anajua kunituliza. Ujesikia mse akisema hivyo, umse this is my uni dawa yangu. Wase wanaongeaga hivyo. So everyone is looking for something out there. So it can be physical, emotional, financial, spiritual. Kuna watu wanataka mtu wa church. Ule mtu anasema mimi nataka tu mse mwenye anaendaga church ndio anirudishe kwa God. Mimi nataka mse ana workout.
Nirudishe kwa God.
Hapana, kuna watu wanategemea, ndio nakwambia siku hizi ni kutegemeana. Everyone out there is looking for something. Yeah. So kitambo ilikuanga genuine love, but nowadays there's nothing like genuine love.
You need a hug?
No.
Safina ametoka ati Safina ametoka kupendwa.
I will have fun with this one, and I'm glad that CJ Atem was just joined us. CJ, we are talking about the dynamics in modern day dating, and tulikuwa tunasema when we started, some of us leo we are learning. We are actually here to learn. But I'll come to hear your thoughts. Ken, having heard what she has painted, if you go back to the rules on the book, the ground rules of what makes a working relationship, where does that place the relationships of these days?
It's actually very true. I agree with QT, because the relationship scenario or the scenery today has turned. It has shifted. We are fast-tracking things that will come and catch up later. You know, in relationships, things don't go wrong. Things start wrong. It had to start with you being acquaintances. Then you become friends before you become lovers. Now people are assuming that love can be fast-tracked and you want to become lovers immediately. You've been in a situation where people even start loving, dating, sexting, and they even separate before meeting in person.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
And it's not because of wrong. In a songa. Then we also have people who are not genuinely getting into relationships because they are genuine, they want to be loved. They are getting it to be assimilated to what their friends are doing. Today, some relationships are not starting with, will you marry me? Some relationships are starting with, dad alisema nirudi mahali nilikuwa weekend.
Yeah.
Some relationships are even starting with, hey, guess what, I've missed my periods. And then you start it wrongly and you assume that things will work out along the way. Things will not work out. It has to go back to the basics. Dating used to turn into marriages. But now dating is turning into getting more likes and followers, so that we can update our statuses. We can go to TikTok and showcase. We can go and brag about it to our friends. Dating is even turning up to be like a poverty eradication committee, where you're getting it into it because you cannot afford your own lifestyle and you want somebody else to upgrade you and give you that relationship style that you're looking for, so that you can have somebody to take care of your nails, of your shoes, of your shopping. And then for us,
why are you not using that?
I was getting into for us men. I was getting into for us men. It is getting that girl whom everybody wants. Okay. You do not want her. But because everybody wants her, you want to be the winner. So you can do everything, and you come, it's like a marketing strategy where you just brand yourself, lie, because there's a lot of lies nowadays. I think the thing that we are lacking is we are lacking genuine people.
That's very unfortunate to say. CJ, just to allow you to weigh in also, take them way back. How love is
Why am I taking anybody way back?
And why it used to work.
I listen to QT. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I listen to QT, but so my issue with QT's scenario is that, you see, reality is relative. When you live, for example, in the city, your reality is the city. And that may not represent everybody's reality. And even within the city, it depends on who are your circle. So you could be in a circle where there's certain things that come up a lot. And I think sometimes when we sit here as people very exposed to urban dynamics that may not represent everybody.
The whole picture.
So sometimes we make those assumptions. I still believe that there are young people who believe in love. I still believe that there are young people who will go through processes and dating, because these things depend on culture, socialization, beliefs, family values. There are people who have seen their parents relate in a certain way and they still look at that as a model. But you see, with the urban areas are very commercial. So a lot of things are very transactional. So we are wired to be very transactional in nearly everything, in friendships, in relationships, when it comes to dating. And so you'll find even somebody who grew up with certain values, when they come in here, within a short while or within a period of time, they begin to change how they relate, because the pressure of the bills they need to pay, the things that they need to do, the economic situations become a reality to them. So that then begins to tilt the dynamics of how relationships are. But even if you go back into the past, I think people still married for a reason. I think people still married. There are men who married because they wanted somebody who would cook for them or who would raise children for them. And it was very valid.
So even way back, these challenges we have now, they were there.
It's just that it wasn't as commercial as it is now. Right now, it's very, very commercial. But you'd find somebody saying, I'm now 27, 28, I need to settle down, I need somebody who cooks for me. And it was very clear like that. A girl would be being raised, and then it would be like she needs somebody who will take care of her. And they formed those. In fact, in the past, I don't really think that the older generation talked about love. They talked about roles. They were very clear about what they wanted. And I think that's why their relationships lasted, because love was a bonus. It was very clear, this is somebody I can settle with. I love their personality, I love the character, I love the family they're coming from. They look like somebody who can stay in a marriage. This one looks like a responsible man. There was nothing like, six-pack. There was nothing like nothing. It was who they were, because they understood that marriage came with certain responsibilities and certain roles needed to be played. So today, what Ken is talking about, where people do this for the likes, is you may like how I look, and so I look good on your Instagram, but I cannot play the roles of the person that you need in your life. So you'll be struggling over here because I represent a certain demographic, and you're getting the likes, but then I'm not taking care of you in the way that you should, whether emotionally or physically or financially, whichever way. So then somewhere along the line, the conflict begins to come. Or you find people who want these trophy wives or trophy women, but then again, they're very traditional. traditional. So at home, they want this girl to cook. But then this girl has built her entire personality and brand around her image. So she's not coming to cook for you. And you met her knowing that she wasn't cooking. But now you want to get that and get this as well. It becomes a problem. So the older guys were a bit more realistic with their expectations. And they voiced that. Then you see they didn't make these decisions by themselves alone. No. I was thinking yesterday, why is it safer to fly than to be on the road? It's because the aeroplane has so many people involved in making decisions. It's not just a pilot waking up and deciding, I'll fly here, I'll fly this height, I'll fly this direction. There's so many people guiding that thing. Whereas a motorbike, the guy just decides wherever he wants to go. So you have more chances of being involved in an accident with a motorbike than with an aeroplane that is hanging up over there.
Why?
Before, before, because the community was also involved, there were other things that people would look at. So as you get into it, there would be foundational things. This is what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for somebody who can be with me, take care of my house, my home while I'm going out for work. And then you also know what you expect from the man.
So do we have a lot of motorbike relationships?
Oh, we do. We do. We do. We do. That's why, you know, that's why you will have even a family member and they'll be on their 5th relationship. You never met even the first person. You'll just see they keep on changing their people on social media because they make their own decisions. And because today, for example, even ladies have their money, when they break up, they don't have to go home. It's not like in the past where a woman would go back to her parents, then the man has to come back and something. Now, she will have left this one, and even the parents will realize she moved on with the next person. She's somewhere else, and she's actually pregnant. In fact, it's her photos of pregnancy that will be showing that she has somebody else. So people are just making their own decisions like that. And we cannot be successful in relationships when we make decisions on our own.
On our own.
Right.
Roberta, you cannot underestimate that very strong point.
I hope you have
the
involved
emergence
others.
of motorbike relationships.
I thought I was here to teach. I'm here to be called out. Like, of course,
cannot ignore that. I hope you heard it.
I agree with everything CJ has said. And, you know, when you look at it, you know, something I'm realizing, I started by saying this, but let me just emphasize. When you're thinking about being in a relationship, the idea is so beautiful. You're seeing all these people on social media. You know, you're seeing CJ saying, you know, I've been with my wife for decades. And then you come here, you sit next to Ken.
Did you have to use me? I don't even do that.
I'm talking about the people in serious relationships. The examples I can give.
And then Ken anaita
Wezi cheka na 2 seconds kama ajaongea juu ya Shiro. You know? So you see all this, but you have to realize that people are doing the work.
Yeah.
Like, it's actual work. The idea is so nice and, you know, fairy tales, and we went out to eat, but, you know, it comes down to the nitty-gritties about simple things like even pet peeves. Things about, I wake up at 10, she wakes up at midday. It's all those conversations. It's all the arguments, all the disagreements, all the things that you do not see eye to eye on, all the things that you like done differently. And this person does a different way. It's a lot of work that you have to deliberately, every day you wake up and you say, like now Ken, he wakes up and he says, I choose Shiro. Every morning.
It's a conscious choice.
Yes, it's a conscious choice. Because you wake up every day, and not every day you like this person.
True.
You've had them snoring and you've not slept adequately. You wake up in the morning annoyed. And you just have to decide, you know, this is my person. This is the life I've chosen. This is what I want for myself because I'm building something. And I always equate relationships to, you know, things like business, things that you actually have to pour your heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into. Because people downplay the importance and the weight of relationships. Relationships just don't happen automatically, Ati, because you're my mother, we're friends. Ati, because we like each other, this is going to work out, we're going to get married. Z, it's, what about the days that I don't like you? What about
they
the days
come,
that,
they will come,
what about the days you've annoyed me? What about the days I'm going through grief and I'm so sad I can't get out of bed? What about the days your mental health is taking a toll on you? Or, you know, the days I just don't feel like talking. I've been talking the whole week. I just need to shut up. What about those days? About when we need to have, you know, clear communication, but you're feeling shy. About where you're scared to bring up something they did, but you have to if you guys need to progress and improve. So it's work. And I say this because when you're sitting and watching, ukiwa kwa soko sasa unaona kina Safin. You know, she's looking beautiful because, you know, at home she's not stressed, she's feeling nice.
To me again.
She's being the happy couples. You just see people showing up, but you don't understand. It's not, when I equate it to business, it's the same as you'll see Roberta showing up. You know, you'll say, she's dressed nicely, she looks nicely. Bro, you don't know the days I cried. Yeah. You don't know the way I sat on my floor and I didn't have money to buy gas. Gas inaishanga ukipika ugali kwanza midnight. How driven nilikuwa. Nililia, venye nilikuwa stressed, venye nilikuwa hopeless, venye nilikuwa angry, annoyed. You know, all these things. So relationships take a lot of deliberate work. You have to wake up every day consciously and choose and decide, I'm making it work with this person. Regardless of what we're going through, what we're doing. Last week I gave the example of a group project. You need to get an A, but all these people are not cooperating or you don't like them. That doesn't matter. Life doesn't care. It's about, I want a successful marriage. I want a successful relationship. I have to put in the work. I have to show up every day. I have to communicate when I can't show up. Yes. So it's active, deliberate, consistent work. Think about your nurturing something, even if it's just ideological. Think about something you're nurturing and you want it to grow and be healthy and be happy and beautiful. You have to give your time and effort and love. So the work is there. Usione watu wana post IG, wana smile. Listen. The background, kazi inafanywa sana.
It's good you've said that because even love is not a given, it's not automatic.
Yes.
Love is nurtured. What about those days when you feel like you don't love that person? Yeah, because those days will come. Do the young people of today know that?
No, they don't. You know what was easy. But you know, actually, Safin, whatever CJ was saying and what Roberta is saying, at the end of the day, dynamics may change. We have to agree. Tumetoka monologue, tumeingia digital. At the end of the day, the dynamics have changed, and that is something that we have to accept. Tumeona in terms of Gen Z, in terms of nini, vitu mob sana zimechange. Uende sasa ati sasa nika ku revenge. I'm telling you that is what is happening. Unaenda ku revenge ati sasa juu mse alifanya hivi, so I also want to go and do this. That is what is happening right now. Sasa juu alienda huku that's the point. Actually umeisema vizuri. If you can cheat, well, I'm the coach, you know, and this game hawezi nifunza. Na even though vitu zina happen, unajua at the end of the day, yes, we want to put in the work. We want to do all these things. But what are they doing? What are the young people doing out there? Au wanafanya nini? Huyu anasikia vibaya, anasema mimi siwezi sikia vibaya. Kama ulienda na mse out, hata mimi naenda na mse out. That's what they are doing on social media. Maze una break up na mse leo, kesho asha post mtu mwingine social media. I mean, that is what is happening. That is the situation on the ground because the young people, even your life iko saizi. As much as tunataka to sugarcoat tuseme okay, I'm going to put in the work. Maybe mimi kama QT can decide to put in the work. But kuna mtu mwenye hana hiyo time atakwambia so unataka kushinda hapo ukilialia me can't bembeleza you. Aende post mtu mwingine social media kesho. Yani wase wana break up leo, mtu anaenda na kupostia mse social media. What are you supposed to do about it, you know? So at the end of the day, I think ina depend na mse na vile Ken said, we are starting it wrongly. Hatuangalii situation venye tunaanza mambo. Yo story ya huyu anaweza nisaidia hivi ni transactional. So hizi relationships ni transactional. Umse anaweza nitoa stress. Mimi sasa kukua kwa situation yenye kuna stress. So if this person can really help me. So hapo ndio shida inaanzia. Why are we starting it wrongly? Tunaianza on the wrong foot. So mimi naanza on my own reasons. I'm being selfish. I'm like, mimi nataka umse koza anaweza nifanyia hivi na hivi. So we are starting it with selfish reasons. So by the time we are getting there, by the time inafika ni time ya ku break up, hakuna mtu anajali. Huyu ataamka walk out. That is why unapata mtu kama Ken. Saizi hata hata enyewe atatuambia but hizi walk hizi amka unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi? Safin saizi wase wanaamka. Divorce zina happen at what rate at this point? Wase wamefanya church weddings but wana walk away. They don't
even within a month
mpaka watu wanajiuliza kwani ni nini? I want to be, kuna wale watu wenye wana believe in love. Watu wana lose hope in love just because watu wanaoana ulipewa pressure na mzazi. Tumeoana for the wrong reasons. Mzazi alinipe pressure, nikasuccumb to that pressure. So by the time ni get na umse, niko frustrated, sipendi umse kwanza hata ananibu, hata sikuwa namtaka in the first place, unaona? So mimi na find it easy, I'll just walk away, I'll just be like, but I did it for my parents. Nika venye unafanyanga degree, I did it for my parents, I did it for my mom, I did it for my dad. So you find it easy to walk away because you did not put in the work.
Yeah. You analog unasema tumetoka analog.
Aside kwa digital mtu wangu.
It used to work, Kate. Ebu waambie, James, principles, eh?
By the way,
zile zenye wana miss.
I've been married for 13. That
made relationship work.
Marriage yangu ni 13 years, but dated for 3 years. And the reason why we dated for 3 years is just when we had decided to get married, I was posted to Kitale. And so we agreed with Shiro, she will have to go back to school also. So she went back to school. By the time I was done with the project in Kitale, she was still in school. But then ours was genuine. I would say that. And I like what Roberta has said. It's not all about happiness daily.
Is there something even in the duration of dating?
Yes, yes.
The longer, the more stable, ama?
No, not really. Longevity does not mean because some are pharaohs, they are keeping the children of Israel for too long. It's the high time to release, but it can also be too fast. The 90 days rules, by the way, still apply.
Does it?
Yes. And I'm not talking about the 90 days rule for you to get intimate. Why 90? It's not like you're counting and like, I have 89 more to go. It is that one of being intentional to want to learn. What you do not realize is your spouse is the only member of your family you are never related. I am not related to Shiro's side of the family. She's not related to my side of the family. And even my children, me and my 2 kids, she's the only one we are not sharing blood because my children will share my blood. But this person who is not your family member, you have to be very intentional to own them and to love them, that even when days are not okay. This week we are having our year. We are taking our year count on what we have been doing for our relationship. So the kids are with the shosh, so ni sisi wawili. We are going to get bored with each other. Like yesterday we got home and I have to do meetings in the evening. And so today she's told me, if you have to do any meeting, make sure you finish them in the office because we have quite a lot to discuss. We have to do some stock take. What used to work before What used to work before is that we had even mentors. Today, if my marriage does not work, my best man and our best lady, they're a couple. We will go back to them. And we will tell them, yes, yours might not be rosy, but we are having challenges here. Because they also have mentors. But what is happening today? Roberta wants to get married, takes a Form 3 desk mate, come and become... What can you learn from such a person? They are not even role models. They have not even tried. We are even being coached by people who have not been in marriages. We are getting a committee of experts who are not experts on anything. Don't date that one. Uyo sasa mtapelekana wapi? And have you heard of jokes where somebody got married to another lady who told the lady, don't get married to this dude? And then she goes like, Roberta, you've got a new boyfriend. Yeah, ni mgani ni Greg. Greg mgani? Si yule uliniambia ni achane na yeye. I'm just using a name. Greg, bwana asifiwe sana. It's how I was used to that.
It's okay.
Can you dispute that you're not dating Greg? Yeah? So get it right. Go back to even your parents. Some of us got married because our parents' marriages either worked or did not work. I used to see my mother cooking for my husband. You know, there are basics that you will expect to do. Microwave relationships cannot last for long. Yeah? Where you want life on the move, fast move, desperate relationships can also not work. That everybody in our circle is getting married, I am the only one. So let me just get married. I was in a church, I don't know whether I shared this, where I was invited by one of our priests, come and talk to our youth, because wanawana wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Wamebakia wawili, and we want to bring in new ones. Before I could even go, father ananipigia, hata wale wawili walikuwa wamebaki wameoana. Desperate relationships. Relationships that do not have mentors. Relationships that are not even spiritual. I will not cease to say this. God must be in the circle. Middle of it. And relationships that are 50-50. 50-50 relationships never work. It must be 100-100. It takes maturity for relationships to work, such that you know at one particular time, I may have my down days. So it takes maturity to say, today, it's not like she did it yesterday, so I will have to be there for her. As a man, I also must be understanding to know that even my wife, it's not about her. Sometimes it's about the hormones. You cannot wake up and say, huyu anaamkanga na ma-stress. Sikupenda kwake sometimes. Of course, kuna drama queens na kings, the ones who act forever. And the ones who want a lot of attention, they suffer from attention deficiency, hyper disorders out there. But the ones who are genuine and they can be able to communicate, people who can be able to tell you, you know, talking stages, talking stage will be forever, even in relationships. That let me not assume. Nowadays, relationships are ending because of, I will not be the first one to call. And she tells herself the same. So, tulikosana juu ya ujinga, ya kukataa kuongeleshana. It takes one of us to go out and reach out, so that if she reaches out, I will learn that when things are not okay, I will also reach out.
All right, all right. When I was growing up, nasi ati mimi there was this analogy ya triangle. Yeah, when you said God, that was very key. If you're in a relationship, lazima kukuwe na hiyo arrangement ya triangle where God is at the center, and then wewe, and then mtu wako. So if you connect well with God, both of you, then you connect well with each other. Is it home? Imefika.
Rich, don't make an altar call.
CJ, they say that they are the product of what they sow. It is because of the toxicity and issues we've seen before. That's why the relationships of these days are the way they are. Can we disconnect the analog and the digital? Ama it is because of the failures of the analog that the digital is chaotic and doesn't seem to be working?
I think the only failure, if there may be any, is how the young people were raised, not necessarily how their parents were. Sometimes when people have gone through a lot of hardship, they make it very soft for the next generation because they want to take away from them whatever they feel, were the inconveniences and the drought and the famine and the hardship. So they'll say, I don't want my children to go through what I went through. But you see, some of that struggle is what formed who these people are, in terms of character, tenacity, in terms of clarity, in terms of passion, hard work, values and virtues. So when you remove what made you, and then you give them what you have, so they have this, but they don't have what made you. They don't know how to behave with it. So when these young people are meeting challenges, they don't know how to behave in these challenges because from childhood, they have been shielded, protected, and insulated from every challenge. Anything they want is given. Whatever they desire is provided. So when he comes into a relationship or she comes to a relationship, when you're not giving them what they want now, they don't know how to deal with rejection. They don't know how to deal with waiting. They don't know how to deal with not being the first choice. They don't know how to deal with not receiving attention. So they will react. They'll throw a tantrum. So that's what we have produced.
Had a tantrum, Mature.
There's so many.
There's a lot of tantrums. There are a lot of tantrums in relationships.
Utoto mingi yani.
They will. That's what Karen is talking about. So somebody will say, I'm not going to be the first one to talk to the other person. I'll not reach out because they will think I'm weak, you know. But that's just the issues of they have been so well treated, in a sense, by their parents who thought that they were giving them a better life, that now they don't know how to handle the real world out there, which is full of rejection, which is full of dry days, which is full of toughness, which is a world of people who never grew up in your home. They don't have your culture. They don't talk the way you talk. They do not understand that you all greet each other when you wake up. They don't know that you are nice to everybody. I mean, they talk the way they talk. I was
the basics.
I had a session so many years ago with a couple, and at some point I told them, I think you guys need to postpone your wedding because their cultures were polar opposites. every single day we had conversations. We would start with the fights they had during the week, because one person came from this very cultured family, fork and knife, etiquette and all of that. Then the other one came from a family where even siblings would call each other whatever name, anyhow. And interestingly, the fork and knife was the man. And then the lady came from where you insult each other like for a joke. So the guy is in shock that this girl
who does that,
saying stuff like that. Yeah, who does it? And he would be getting so mad, so mad at this. And then the girl, one time, so I take them through a session. I say, I want you to write the things that you like about you and the things you like about the other person. So the guy had like about 3 things he liked about the lady and nearly 3 pages of what was wrong with her.
Oh, man.
Interestingly, the lady had the same on herself. She only thought her strengths were about 3 or 4, and then she critiqued herself so badly, so much of negativity about herself. Then when it got to now about the man, it flipped again. Opposite. Because even herself, that's how she was looking at her and at herself. And I said, you know what? This has got to change. Why would you marry somebody that you think has very little of things that you appreciate? But the girl said to me, in our house, even if we say a dog, if we call you a dog, that's very normal. So I don't know why he gets upset about that. So this is why I always say, Safin, that when you're raising children, raise children to survive without you. They're not going to be living with you. You need to prepare them for a world out there, which doesn't have mommy, doesn't have daddy. So they need to know the rules out there will be very, very, very different. And they must be prepared to be global citizens who can live with different people, different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, different temperaments, different personalities. They need to know how to live there. But what do I do when I don't get my way? What do I do when I don't have money? What do I do when people are not talking to me? What do I do when I'm not the center of attention? We need to build them like that. So the place we failed in is probably in how we raise them.
How we raise them.
Safin, can I say something briefly? Don't settle with somebody before you visit their houses and see how they relate to the parent of the opposite gender. How I talk to my mother, there's a high likelihood I will talk to my wife the same way. And how my wife describes the father, there's a high likelihood she will treat me the same way. So don't fast track it. It is good to even intentionally have a conversation about, tell me about your father. Tell me about your mother. So that you
Not
hear how they describe. No. Those ones we can even text. But such conversations, hard conversations, if I have no relationship with my mother, then I need to ask myself, how will I relate with my wife, whom we are not related, and the one that we are related? So this forms basis for even premarital counseling. People are preparing for weddings and forgetting about marriages. We need to stop preparing for weddings. We need to start preparing for marriages. What will last when the last person leaves the ground?
The last I checked, even marriage these days is becoming something that many people are not even, it's not even an option. It's where we are going. A majority of people are losing hope, and it's not even an option on the table for them. And that's why we have this show every Tuesday, to say that love works, marriage is beautiful. I mean, mutuskize, take notes. Anyway, there's something I wanted to talk about. This public display of affection. Hata kitambo watu walikuwa wanapendana, and they used to do things for each other.
Kitambo hakukuwa na Instagram. Tutapataje brand deal tusipopostiana? Where the kids have to eat.
And are they truly, hizo vitu, hata ukisurprise, ngoja kwanza, I need to go do makeup and then, so that you can propose, ndio to shoot video. Is it really ukweli? Mnatutesa hapa kwa social media. CDAs. Modern day dating, I'm tired.
I'm not really able to gauge like if these relationships are as genuine as they seem. But what I always say is, even me as someone who's active on social media, understand that everything that is posted is curated. It's very intentional, and it has been posted for a reason. Whether the reason is to make you guys jealous because I'm with my man, or the reason is to show you the way I catch flights and I am on vacation, or whatever the reason is, or maybe I just like the picture. I look good. We look handsome. We're a nice couple. Whatever the reason is.
We look happy, but are you happy?
What are we look happy? Yeah, Instagram ni ya look. Pia feel feelings ni hapa kwa ground discuss. So
It's a nice one.
Understand that it's intentional. Whatever is posted is intentional. Take everything like with a grain of salt. And I've said this before, like even when you're following people and consuming things on the internet, make sure even your consumption is intentional. Usiende hapo kukamp kwa page yangu wene na mjama wangu daily tunafanya vitu na wewe inakuaffect. Unaona, inaweza kuwa tu hata hizi picha ni za last year na nimedecide kuzichomoa saizi tufuatana. Maybe hatujaongeleshana tangu February. Lakini juu saizi najisikia, December. I'm posting them now. Maybe me and my husband don't even live in the same house, but how will you know if you're not around us? So understand everything posted online is very intentional. And the more I heal and the more I grow, this is just a personal revelation on my part. I'm realizing that people really protect things that are important to them, things that are special and precious and things they take to heart. I mean, yes, I could post myself with my husband, but then things that are intimate, things that are, just for us, things that make sense to us. Si lazima kila saa zikwe uko. No maana nawaambia, amjui nini na happen for real. Amjui nini na happen for real. Anything that is online, you just take it as that. Do not make assumptions for yourself. You do not live with them. You do not know what is going on in their house. I'm not against PDA, but Kenye tu nimenotice ni when people love things, they protect them. It's not hiding. It's not a secret. It's just none of your business. Yeah, it's just ours.
It's not a secret.
It's for us. So relationships, iyo part ya intentionality, like actively choosing deliberately every day, deciding this is what I want. I want to be here. This is what I want for myself. It's so important because it pushes you towards growth. It's just the same as you changing to a cleaner diet, or you making your body active, or you investing into your business. It's the same as the way you love your platonic friends. When they have achievements, you congratulate them. When they're excelling, you give them a gift. When they're going through grief, you're there with them to hold them. Hizo vitu zote tuko able to apply in other relationships. Hata kwa work, husbands na work wives. Si watu wanakuanga empathetic na considerate. Apply hizo principles za consideration na love na empathy for your actual real romantic lovers and partners.
Yeah.
And
but if you want
build the friendship.
If you want a relationship that's uskwe na work husband.
Very important.
Yeah. So if you want it to work, focus. QT, I also want to hear your thoughts on the PDAs. Amesema, take it with a pinch of salt. But we have a lot of young people today who are setting their standards based on what they are seeing online.
Unajua social media imeleta pressure mob sana. At the end of the day, social media iko na uzuri wake na iko na ubaya wake. Na it depends with the way you look at social media, because at the end of the day, if people are just posting things, of course everyone is getting pressure. QT amepost juu yako hakuna mtu mwenye anajua like why you're doing what you're doing. Kuna watu wako job. Venye amesema kuna watu wakionekana kama couple, they're actually working. Na kuna brands na kuna brands zitakuja. By the way, kuna brands zitakam because you're a couple. The minute mmeachana, brands zitaacha kuwork na nyinyi, but kuna watu wanawataka kama couple. So they do it sometimes intentionally, zile za okay, tuko hapa tunataka kunini, tunakuja kama brand, we are coming as a brand, we are coming as a couple. So the minute they separate, so for them it's actually work. People need to understand that watu upost venye Roberta amesema, kila mtu akona reasons zake za kupost on social media. Kuna wale wanapostingi kufanya wase wengine wa feel vibaya, ama ex wako unataka kumfanya feel vibaya, unaget. Kuna ule mtu mwenye ako job, yeye ni influencer, lazima apost hivyo ndio job ikuje. Kuna ule mtu mwenye tu ameamka yenyewe anaona na hii picha inakaa fiti, let me just post it on social media. So it really depends. And mimi nazambia tu wase uko nje, just do what you have to do for yourself. It has to be for you. Usifanye juu unaonanga watu wengine wakipost. Wewe fanya kitu yenye inakubamba. Kama kupost, kama PDA inakubamba, do it because inakubamba wewe mwenyewe. Mushinda nikisema do something for yourself, it's for you. Yani kama yenyewe PDA inakubamba, wewe songa nayo. But usifanye because you're seeing other people do it. But what I can say is that social media brings a lot of pressure. Please don't believe everything that you see on social media. As Bobby said, tuweza kwa tunaishi keja different, but we are posting on social media, but we are separated.
Usponi post, kuna shida.
Atuko poor, by the way.
Anyway, as we're winding up this, Ken, I also want to hear your thoughts, yeah? let's set the record straight. Let's talk to the young people, because we cannot. It's not all doom and gloom. You know,
it's very true.
Tumalize vizuri.
No, it's very true. Actually, marriages do work. There are people who will love and they will love forever. As they have said, PDA, I would ask the ones who are viewing, stop looking at it from a jealousy perspective. Yeah, some people do it because they want just to do it. I mean, it's tu hiyo ni kamati ya roho chafu, and you know jealousy is the last stage before you become a witch. Yeah, so look at it like, can we stop being demotivators to people? Can we be motivators? When you look at two young people who are trying to blend together, let's not just go and show them the negativity. We can even tell them about the positivity. Positivity of, yes, you have tried. Don't listen to other people out there. First, groom what is yours internally, and then work towards it. And if you need support, you know, there is no word that is better than being told, if you need support, count on me. How many of us are ready to count on other people? I can't look at Roberta, sorry to you to say this, as a younger lady than I, and I just look at her, rather than work towards helping her with her new relationship, I'm like, zile zantamuonyesha, the negativity about the dude, because I want my chances with her. We cannot also be predators and praise, We can be people who help others. We can protect. We are the protectors of relationships, and we can be able to do it. Personally, I am a believer. If you want support, just come. I will give you all the support necessary.
You're not alone. You're covered. CJ, you get the final word.
Well, I think we have to redefine love. For most people, it's an emotion and a feeling. And that's why people get very disappointed. But if you understand that love is a decision that you make, then it becomes easier to work with it, because then you will make the choices that you should. You know, QT normally talks about scripture, and today Ken did, so let me bring it in.
It's the Hewani effect.
Closer to God.
You know, there's this story after the resurrection of Jesus, that he comes and he finds his disciples have gone fishing, and he was restoring Peter. He says, Peter, do you love me? And Peter says, I love you. Do you love me? About 3 times. But in the Greek of it, they were not saying the same thing. In the Greek of it, Jesus was asking about a kind of love that is a decision. But Peter was saying, yes, I love you. He was talking about a feeling. They were not saying the same thing. So there is the love, which is the decision. There is the love, which is the feeling. The feeling will wear off. The decision is a very deliberate, intentional thing that you say, I choose to love this person. So we need to shift from just what we feel to what we deliberately decide to do.
Wow, I cannot water that down any further. I mean, that's a very good way to end it. And you have to make that decision every day to sustain that relationship, unfortunately. So it's work.
Fortunately.
And, fortunately.
It is very fortunate.
All right. It looks like we have a lot of things to talk about and a lot of catching up also. QT is back. Anyway, that's how we wrap it up right here on Daybreak Social Hour. We really appreciate your time and company. Keep those topics coming. Give us your feedback. We'd like to hear whether this